Okay, so if you are new to this call, welcome. Good evening. It's nice to have you here. My name is Michelle. I am an identity mentor, international speaker, and a business coach. Right, hold on. And I help people to discover who they really are so that they can move authentically and make money. And I am here to motivate you. So you could choose to pay attention over the next 30 minutes or so. That is, of course, your choice. I recommend that you do pay attention, and if you can, minimize your distractions and listen with an open mind. Now, if you are anything like me, you're going to want to grab a pen and some paper because you're going to want to take notes this evening. So before we kick it off, I'm going to say this: confidence on, doubt off. Let's go. So I want to start by saying this clearly because it matters. Tonight is not about becoming a LinkedIn expert. We're going to be covering some LinkedIn basics, but it's not about becoming an expert. It's not about algorithms tonight. It's not about hacks, and it's not about posting every single day. This session is about understanding how to stand confidently in a professional room without feeling awkward, without feeling fake, and without feeling as if you are being too salesy. Because let's get it straight. This is what LinkedIn really is. It is a room. LinkedIn is not Instagram dressed up with a fancy blazer. It's not a place to perform. And it's definitely not a place to beg for attention. LinkedIn is a room full of business owners, decision makers, collaborators, and people who are quietly observing. And every time you show up on LinkedIn, you are being positioned. Whether you post or not, whether you comment or not, whether you realize it or not, you are being positioned because people are subconsciously asking themselves, does she know what she's talking about? Can I trust him? Would I listen to her? Would I listen to him if he was speaking? And here's the part that most people get wrong about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not a sales platform first. LinkedIn is an authority platform. Sales comes later. Opportunities comes later. Recognition comes later. But authority comes from clarity, not noise. So tonight, we're doing it a bit different. Tonight, we are not chasing visibility for the sake of being seen. Tonight, we're learning about building a presence. We're talking about building recall. We're building the kind of confidence that doesn't need to shout. So by the end of this session, I want you to stop seeing LinkedIn as something you should be doing and start seeing it as a space where the right version of you is being remembered. So I need you to be remembered as being clear, being calm, and being credible. Now, for those of you who are new on the call, I've said it a little bit earlier, I love lots of interaction. So I'm going to be calling numbers out today. And when I call those numbers out, I like you to respond by dropping those numbers in the chat. And it also makes me make sure that you are following what I'm saying. So drop a one in the chat if you want to be seen as credible and confident in professional spaces. And I'm seeing those ones, Dolores, Lot, Aiko, Olu, Angela, Charlotte, Inetta, Miata, John, those ones are coming through. You guys understood the assignment. And drop a two in the chat if you are done being overlooked because you have not positioned yourself properly. Melanie, Stevie, Arthur, Miata, Inetta. I am seeing those twos coming through fast and furious. You guys are on fire tonight, and let's go. So, the first thing I want to talk about tonight is what is LinkedIn actually for? Because we all know that we should be posting on LinkedIn, or we would like to be posting on LinkedIn, but what is it actually for? So, we're going to clear this up first. Most people struggle with LinkedIn not because they're bad at it, but because they're using it for the wrong reason. Most people think LinkedIn is about posting more, selling faster, or sounding impressive. That's not it. Okay. LinkedIn works best when you understand what it's really designed for. So, LinkedIn really does three things exceptionally well. And I need you to write these three things down. The first thing it does really well is it helps with visibility. Number two is credibility. And number three is recall. So I'm going to say those again. That's visibility, credibility, and recall. So let's just go into each of those a little bit. So when I say LinkedIn is for visibility, I'm not talking about viral visibility. I'm talking about strategic visibility, right? So it allows the right people to see you consistently, right? And think, she's still here. He's still here. They're still showing up. Okay. So that's the type of visibility we're talking about. Then we've got credibility. So LinkedIn helps people decide whether you're someone worth listening to before they ever speak to you. Okay. So before they even book with you, before they send you a DM, before they refer you to someone else, they want to make sure that you're credible. Okay. So LinkedIn helps you to build your credibility. And that is seen through your tone, your consistency, your perspective, right? All of those things are quietly shaping how people see you on LinkedIn. And the third thing is recall. Now, this is it. LinkedIn is not about instant results. It's about being remembered at the right time. So what you want to do is when you're posting, you need people to remember you when they need you, right? So when they need something that you do, you're supposed to be the first person that pops up in their mind. You're supposed to be the person that pops up when an opportunity opens. You're supposed to be the person that pops up when a conversation starts. They're like, I remember Kelly, she does this. I remember John, he does this. That is what LinkedIn is there to help you do, build your recall. So here's the mistake. Most people try to sell on LinkedIn before they're being remembered. They want to pitch before they've been able to build up that trust that they need to build up. They show up asking for things, asking to click my link, asking to be on my podcast, but they're showing up asking for things without ever positioning themselves first. And that's why posting on LinkedIn can feel awkward because we haven't built up the relationship that we're supposed to build up yet. So I need you to understand this, and I'm going to say this clearly. LinkedIn is not where you convince people, it's where you confirm what they already feel about you. Okay, I'm going to say that again. LinkedIn is not where you convince people, it's where you confirm what they already feel about you. Okay, this is where you confirm that you are competent in what you're doing. This is where you let them know that you are clear, that you're safe to work with. And once that is established, that's when the sales become easy. That's when opportunities feel natural. Okay, and this is when showing up on LinkedIn stops feeling so heavy. So if LinkedIn has felt a little bit awkward or uncomfortable in the past, it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's just because you've taken a backwards approach. So drop a 3 in the chat if that resonates with you. You're kind of posting on LinkedIn, you're not really sure what you're supposed to be posting. It feels a little bit weird. You're not sure if you're supposed to be there. James, Aiko, Amy, Nigel, Lola, Stevie, Miata, Dolores, Lucy. I'm seeing these threes coming in. And drop a 4 in the chat if you're ready to learn a new approach. Who is ready to learn a new approach for LinkedIn? Andrew, Christine, Stephanie, Miata, Joel, a lot, Pamela. Wow, these Plaxi, these are coming in fast and furious. I'm loving this session tonight. You guys are on fire. I'm gonna have to turn on my fan in a second. You're getting me all heated up. Right. So listen, if you remember nothing else from tonight, I need you to remember this part. So write these ones down. LinkedIn does not reward effort. It rewards positioning. Okay. LinkedIn does not reward effort. It rewards positioning. And positioning is built on three foundations. Positioning is built on three foundations. And the first one is your profile. Okay. Because your profile is your first impression. Now, I've seen this on LinkedIn, and to be fair, this used to be me. my whole CV in my profile. Your LinkedIn profile is not your CV. It's not a biography of everything that you've ever done. It is your positioning statement. Okay. So when someone lands on your profile, they're not asking, where did she work? They're asking, what does she do? Okay. And does it make sense for me to be associated with this person, to follow this person, to connect with this person? So I need you to keep things really simple. I need you to have a nice professional photo. No silly photos, no photos with your cat up on your shoulder. Well, maybe Charlotte, you do because you have a cattery. But otherwise, a nice professional photo. Okay. I want your photo to say, I am professional, I am approachable, I am confident. I don't want it to be stiff, I don't want it to be filtered, I just want it to be you. Okay. Well, that's what I mean. Now, Charlotte has a catchery, Annabella, so she might be able to have her cat on her shoulder, so that's okay. And your headline should answer one question clearly. Who do you help? And how do you help them? We don't need titles, we don't need buzzwords. Clear headline. Who do you help and how do you help them? Now, if someone outside of your industry cannot understand what you're saying, your headline is too complicated, okay? And always remember this, clarity builds confidence, okay? Clarity builds confidence. It builds confidence for you, but it also builds confidence for them in you. Okay, so drop a 5 in the chat if that makes sense. And if you know you need to go and fix your profile a little bit. And I'm seeing those fives coming through. Amazing. I'm seeing these fives coming through. So next, let's talk about content, okay? Because this is where people panic. Content on LinkedIn is not about impressing people. It's about demonstrating how you think, okay? It's about demonstrating how you think. You're not trying to teach everything you know. You're letting people hear your perspective. So I need you to understand this. When you're making a post, you're having one idea, one insight, one observation. That's it. One idea, one insight, one observation. Your posts are not performances, they're signals. They're signals to show people you know what you're talking about. They're signals to show people that you are paying attention to your industry. Okay. And it's a signal to say to people that you have something important to say. And here's the thing, and I think a lot of us need to hear this. You do not need to sound clever, okay? You need to sound clear because clear beats clever every single time. I'm going to repeat that. You do not need to sound clever, you need to sound clear. Now, drop a 6 in the chat if you know that nobody likes a smart ass. Nobody likes a smart ass, and I'm seeing those sixes coming through because that's it. If you are walking about high and mighty and making other people feel really small, nobody wants to be associated with you. People don't like smart asses. And I'm seeing those sixes. And that makes me smile because it means that we don't have anybody that thinks that they're better than anybody else on this session. So that's good. I like that. I like that. Let's move on. Foundation number 3, consistency. Consistency because consistency builds trust. LinkedIn doesn't need you to post every day, but it does need you to be predictable. Okay, so once or twice a week, well done. That's it. And that is more powerful on LinkedIn than posting every single day out of panic because consistency builds familiarity and familiarity builds trust and trust builds opportunity. Okay, so you're not trying to be everywhere, you just need to be remembered. Okay. So if you are only posting once a week and you post once a week every Wednesday, then that's absolutely fine. Once a week every Wednesday. And so Renata, she says she has more than one business. If you have more than one business, you need to, when you're posting about one particular business, you stay on track with that business because LinkedIn is not like Instagram where you can have several different profiles. Okay, you have one profile that explains what you do. So if you're posting about business A and something in that industry of business A, then that's what you do. Okay, you don't confuse the messages and mix them up. Okay, so remember this. I forgot where I stopped now. But by showing up, you're showing that you're being consistent. And you don't have to show up loudly, you don't have to show up perfectly, you just have to be consistent. I say that word almost every time we talk about social media. Consistent, consistent, consistent. You have to be consistent. And when these three foundations are in place, your profile, your content, your consistency, LinkedIn stops feeling heavy and it starts working with you instead of against you. Okay. How do you do this if you're still employed and where you work follows you on LinkedIn? Okay, so Annabella, Dolores, this is the thing, right? You don't have to be on every single platform. If you guys are still employed and you don't need your employers to see what you're doing, maybe LinkedIn isn't the place for you to be yet. Okay, maybe faceless Instagram posts might be better for you, where it's not associated with your name, where it's just your business name and it can be faceless or it can be user generated content on there instead. Okay, because not every platform is for everybody straight away. Okay, so what number are we on? Seven. Drop a seven in the chat if you've got these three foundations: your profile, your content, and your consistency. These are the foundations of LinkedIn, and I am seeing those sevens coming in. So now you understand the foundations. Obviously, the next question is, what do I actually post? Because I understand there my content has to be consistent. I have to do this. I have to do, but what do I actually post? Right? And this is the part that stresses people out a lot. Hear this part. You do not need more content ideas. You just need to post intentionally. Okay? Because on LinkedIn, you don't win by posting more, you win by posting from the right place. So, next, what I'm going to do is give you four content lanes, right? So, kind of like content pillars. And if you stay within these lanes, you should always have something to say. Okay? You should always have something to say. So the first one we're going to talk about is perspective. So anything you're posting about, or yeah, anything you're posting about, one of the things that you can do would be from your perspective. So this is when you're posting about what you believe. This is your opinion. This is your stance on things. This is the way that you see things. And when you post about your perspective, what happens is it helps you to build your authority because you are showing what you are thinking. Okay. The second pillar is experience. So this is where you're sharing lessons from client work. This is where you're showing mistakes that you made that you don't want anyone else to make, right? This is how you're showing the things that you learned the hard way or behind the scenes realities. This is not oversharing. Don't put your whole life story in there. This isn't, and it's not trauma dumping either, right? This is your truth. Okay, so people trust experience more than they trust perfection. Oh, where's my mouse gone? The third thing is education. Now, when I say education, I'm not saying go out there and give anybody a master class. This is not what we want. Okay, we're talking again, one insight, one reminder, one reframe, right? If it takes more than a minute for you to explain it, it's too much. People are not going to read the whole thing. Okay. So just remember that. Keep it short on the 1 minute and one insight, just one thing. Don't go off on a whole paragraph with a masterclass in different sections. That's not what we're looking for on LinkedIn. And the fourth pillar that we're going to talk about is authority statements. And this is the most powerful one, and it's the simplest as well. These are short, these are grounded, these are clear. These are the statements that you stand on in life. Okay, so this is things like when you say to people, you don't need to be louder, you need to be clearer. Okay, so that's an example. So these posts, when you're posting authority statements, they don't chase engagement. These are almost like memorable statements. So they're helping you to build up your recall. So we all remember quotes, right? We all have these quotes in our head from famous people that we always remember. Things like fear is not real. Things like, of course, I put myself on the spot and I can't think of any. But we all have these quotes in our heads that we remember all the time and it builds recall. So this is what you're doing with your audience. You're helping to build recall. So I'm going to repeat this again. This is the rule that I want you to remember. One post, has one idea, one point, right? No teaching everything, no over justifying yourself, okay? And no softening your message down either. You don't need, and this is something else I need to remember, especially on LinkedIn, you don't need to end every post with a call to action. We always say, remember your call to action when we're posting on Facebook, when we're posting on TikTok, when we're posting on Instagram. When we're posting on LinkedIn, not every post needs to have a call to action afterwards because sometimes you just want to hit them hard with a quote. Sometimes you're just building that recall, right? So your presence being there and making the post is already the call to action. So drop an 8 in the chat if you're following along with me still. Drop an 8 in the chat if you've got your 4 pillars now and you understand that each thing that you need to post, it needs to be from a point of view of your perspective, your experience. You're educating someone. You're giving an authority statement so that people can recall you later. And I am seeing those 8s and a 7 pop up, and there's an 18. We've got some interesting numbers coming in this evening. Do you have an example of a good LinkedIn bio? Actually, Joel, stay tuned. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. So keep checking the time. I might run a little bit over. This is a big topic, so forgive me if I go a few minutes over. How do we engage? So when it comes to LinkedIn, engagement is about conversation, not self-promotion. So there's some simple rules to engaging on LinkedIn. I needed to be on LinkedIn and I needed to comment thoughtfully on 3 to 5 posts a week, right? You're not pitching to nobody. You're not sending DMs to anybody and pitching yourself. And also, when you're making comments, I need you to speak from your heart. Speak like a human, not like a brand, because people will connect with you more that way. Right. So if you see something that really connects with you, you can write a comment like, oh my gosh, that really landed with me, especially the part about X. Okay. Because that's the strategy. That's how you get seen. That's how you get noticed. That's how you connect with people. Brilliant, brilliant. I've got 32 profile builds from people I wasn't connected to and 16 new connections by posting a controversial reply to someone else's post. And that's it, Andrew. It's all about engagement. It's all about engagement. So I need you guys to lock in. I need you guys to lock in when you're on LinkedIn, right? You're not, I don't want you to think about being on LinkedIn and you're just posting online. I mean, yes, you are posting online, but I want you to think about it more than that. I want you to think of LinkedIn as entering into a professional room and letting people hear your voice, letting people hear your opinion. Okay. And listen, you don't need permission to do this. You already have, you give yourself permission. You don't need perfect wording. You don't need a big following. Okay. You need to stop shrinking. You need to stop overthinking. You need to stop waiting. Okay. And you need to stop thinking that LinkedIn is only for important people or LinkedIn is only for people with big followings or LinkedIn is only for this or that. No, no, it's for all of us. Okay. And most importantly, LinkedIn is about growing your authority. And the only way you can grow your authority is by being seen. So you have to show up as you are, show up messy, just do it. Okay, just do it. So drop a, well, no, let's go back to one. Drop a 1 in the chat. Drop a 1 in the chat if you are going to lock in. You're going to stop being scared to post on LinkedIn. You're just going to get it done. You're going to start where you are. And I am seeing those ones coming through. Absolutely amazing. So this is action. I need you guys to take action this evening. I'm still seeing those ones. Wow. Lola, Plaxi, Helen, Sim, Stephanie, Stevie, Annabella, Lisa, Vanessa, James, Inetta, Melanie, Lafty, Dolores, Vanessa, Christy. Wow, you guys are on fire tonight. I'm loving this. Right. So you've got some homework. You've got some homework. So during the week, I want you to update your headline and your bio. I'm going to drop mine into the school group for an example. Okay, I'm going to drop mine into the school group for an example. And so I'm going to open in a thread, drop it in there, and I need you guys to post underneath that post and let me see your headlines and your bios, and then we can all comment and see where it could be improved, what we would change, so that we can all stand out. Okay. So Yeah, drop it 2 in the chat if you're going to take that action. You're going to take action. You're going to look into the school group. You're going to see what mine looks like, and you're going to reply with yours. And I'm seeing those too. So there are 47 of us on this call tonight, 47 including me. So I'm looking for 46 replies on that post. Okay. Two, but with IG. Okay, that's cool. You're doing IG. Annabella, I think we did IG bios. I will find you and I will send you the links and you can watch that video so you can do with IG as well. Absolutely amazing. I'm seeing those too. So 46 comments and that post during next week, please. Okay. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And with that being said, I've hit it. Oh, I have not gone over by that much. It is 7:30 on the dot. Amazing. I can do the work, but won't actually change it because of my earlier comment. That's fine, Dolores. And Dolores, if you're on IG, you can do your IG bio and you can post that. And I'm going to find the video and put it in there as well for people that can't do the LinkedIn profile. Brilliant. So with that being said, before we wrap up, I know we've got lots of new people on today. So if you're not a part of my school group, which is called the Elevation Room, the Academy School Group, Nigel, the Academy School Group, I'm going to put it in there. So because everyone's in there. But if you're not a part of my personal school group, which is called the Elevation Room, there is a link that's going to be dropped into the chat very shortly to join my personal school group. So within that school group, you've got loads of mindset, we've got momentum, we've got mastery, okay? And this is where you get all of my replays, my podcast is in there as well. You've got mindset tools, breakthrough strategies. There's all sorts in there. Okay. So stay connected and keep showing up in that community for you as well as the Academy community. You are welcome, Frazana. You are welcome. And of course, just because we're talking social media today and not mindset, I still have a weekly affirmation for you. You're not escaping the weekly affirmation. So I need you to say this out loud. I need you to take a screenshot of it, write it down, do what you need to do. But this is this week's affirmation. I show up with clarity, not pressure. My presence speaks before I do. I'm going to say that again. I show up with clarity, not pressure. My presence speaks before I do. Okay, so this is today's Set Up and Soar affirmation. If you decide to screenshot it, feel free to tag me on Instagram if you're going to repost it on there. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. So one last time, I'm going to say it. Confidence on, doubt off. Let's rise. I rise to my rhythm. I rise to my So all that's left to say is thank you so much for being on the call this evening. I've really enjoyed talking to you about LinkedIn. I am looking forward to seeing those headlines and those bios in the school group. Okay, make sure you are following me on Instagram, and of course, make sure you're following me on school. And we are talking about LinkedIn, so let's connect on LinkedIn as well. Okay, if you are on the recording that is on YouTube, remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. And if you would like to attend this session live, make sure you look for the school link, which is down below in the description, and you can join us live. We are here every Sunday, 7 p.m. UK time. Okay, and with that being said, I'm just going to stop the recording so that we can talk about what is going on in the Academy.